The Studebaker US-6 is an American three-axle truck that was supplied to the allies of the anti-Hitler coalition under the Lend-Lease program. The greatest fame for the Studebaker would come not in its homeland, where its presence on the market would be minimal, but in the USSR. It was on the chassis of this truck that the famous BM-13 rocket launchers, known as Katyusha, would be mounted. Studebaker began developing the vehicle in 1940 after the US government announced a competition for all-wheel drive military trucks with a 6x6 configuration and a payload capacity of 2.5 tons. The winners of the competition were the General Motors CCKW and the International Harvester M5H6 trucks. The main obstacle in competing with rivals was the 6-cylinder 94 horsepower JXD engines, which did not meet the technical standards adopted by the US Army at the time. Nevertheless, the truck was put into mass production. It was supplied mainly to the allies of the United States during World War II, namely the USA, Great Britain and France. The first Studebaker vehicles arrived in the Soviet Union in the autumn of 1941, and the following year, the Technical Committee of the Main Automotive Directorate of the Red Army began testing the American truck, which lasted from July 18, 1942 to May 15, 1943. By decision of the testing commission, it was decided to increase the payload capacity of the Studebakers from 2.5 to 4 tons. Later, the maximum allowable load was reduced to 3.5 tons. Special brochures on repair and operation were issued for drivers and maintenance crews. A total of 152,500 trucks were supplied to the Red Army, mostly with partial 6x4 drive, as well as 2,000 light tractors. Altogether, this amounted to 70% of all trucks of this model produced in the United States. Some of the Studebakers were assembled from main vehicle kits at the ZIS, GAZ and MAZ automobile factories. Drivers in the Red Army were delighted with the American Studebakers. Compared to Soviet trucks, which were essentially copies of previous generation American vehicles, the Studebakers had undeniable technical advantages: a spacious cab, conveniently positioned steering wheel and pedals, and high off-road capability even in the 6x4 trucks. The Studebaker was especially appreciated for its easily turning steering wheel. Although the truck was considered average by American standards, its performance in military conditions proved its technical reliability. After the war ended, most of the vehicles were returned to the United States under the terms of Lend-Lease. Those that remained were used for many years in post-war reconstruction. In addition, the Studebaker became the prototype for the post-war Soviet truck KZ-51, which would remain on the assembly line at the Gorky automobile plant until 1975. For the other allies in the anti-Hitler coalition, Studebaker US-6 trucks were supplied in much smaller quantities. The United Kingdom received 7,088 vehicles, while France received only 3,462 trucks. In the United States itself, the Studebaker was used by the US Army Corps of Engineers, particularly during the construction of the Alaska Highway. Starting in 1943, the Ario Motor Car Company joined in the production of Studebakers. In total, by 1945, 219,882 trucks would be built, of which 87,442 were Studebakers with a 6x4 wheel configuration. The Studebakers were equipped with a 6-cylinder inline carburetor engine, the Hercules JXD, with a displacement of 5.2 liters and a power output of 95 horsepower. The transmission was a 5-speed manual. The Studebakers were also equipped with 2-speed mechanical reducers and a power takeoff shaft for winding and unwinding the winch cable. The maximum pulling force on the winch cable was 4 tons 500 kilograms. The maximum speed of the truck was 44 miles per hour. On dirt roads, with maximum load, the vehicle could manage no more than 20 miles per hour. For 60 miles, the truck consumed 38 liters of fuel, which, with a tank capacity of 151 liters, allowed it to demonstrate a decent range about 250 miles. Production of the Studebaker US-6 ended in 1945. This truck would make a significant contribution to the Soviet Union's victory over Nazi Germany by providing reliable logistics for the supply of ammunition, equipment, fuel and lubricants, and troop movements in off-road conditions. Of the 400,000 trucks sent to the Soviet Union, every third one was a Studebaker US-6. therefore downplaying the significance of Lend-Lease, which supplied the USSR with weapons, military equipment, and raw materials, is deceitful and a distortion of facts by the Russian side, which itself, much like Nazi Germany, has become an aggressor.